You know, I really like my 4th gen Ford Explorer here. 2010, for example. I like the way it looks, I like the way it drives, I like the capabilities it has. But there's one thing I don't love about it, and that's the taillights. Ah, now that's a lot better. Let me explain how I did this. As you can see, this vehicle features some pretty standard average looking taillights. You know, a 3-section taillight. So a normal person looking at this car would look at it and say, okay, well, it seems as though we have a reverse light, obviously. We have what's most probably a brake light, and we have a turn signal bulb. There's a chance that the turn signals and the brake lights do not have ambiguity with each other, and therefore, when you hit the brakes, this lights up, and when you turn on your turn signal, this lights up. And it's the same on the other side, as you can see right here. Now, this taillight has a habit of filling with water every time it rains. I tried sealing it off, I tried tape, you can actually see some of the tape marks on the paint. I tried everything, and I couldn't get it to unseal. So my thought was, well, let's get a new taillight or two. But then I thought about something. The 3rd gen Ford Explorer is quite similar to the 4th gen in a lot of ways. It's different enough that you can obviously tell the difference, but it has some similar features. And I looked at it and I said, well, those taillights look the exact same size as my taillights. Is it possible to swap them? So you run into a couple issues here. Now, this is possible, but I ran into a few issues. Here we have a 3rd generation Explorer taillight. Now, the most obvious thing you see here is that my taillight is 3 sections, whereas this one only appears to be 2. You know, maybe it has a separate bulb here and a separate bulb here, but if you look on the back, you can see there's only 2 bulb slots. And the reason for that is because the 3rd gen Ford Explorer has 1 brake light and turn signal bulb and 1 reverse light. So now, immediately, you are thinking that, well, obviously, because that vehicle's brake lights and turn signals have ambiguity with each other and use the same bulb, you can't swap these because you'll lose either your brake light or your turn signal, and you can't lose those. That's where, let's put it this way, that's where it takes a twist. Okay, I'm now going to go in there, and I'm going to hit the brakes. So, watch this. Okay, so you notice that the bottom 2 lights lit up, right? Now, I'm going to set the brakes and I'm going to turn on the turn signal. Did you catch it? That's right. The brake light and the turn signal are actually the same bulb. And then obviously, you know, off top, you have the reverse lights, or in the middle. So you're thinking, well, what is this? What this is a gimmicky feature called a nighttime running light, essentially is what I call it. When you turn your headlights on, this top little bulb lights up and makes another little bulb at the top. Now, of course, you go hit your brakes, you turn on your turn signal, whatever. It's going to do the same thing. You know, you hit your brakes. It looks the same. All it is a little light that comes on when you turn your headlights on. So really, you don't need that. And it's something the 3rd Gen Explorer doesn't have. So, I'm going to show you now the differences in the taillights. So, the first thing you're going to notice is that the 4th Gen taillights are removed using an 8mm socket when the socket is on loosen, with 2 little screws, just like so. Pretty easy to remove if you ask me. I'm going to hold it up here so it doesn't fall off. take those screws out. Yes, I know they're crooked. So now, if we pull the bulbs out, here is the back of this one. Now, compare these sockets. Remember, we're just going to focus on these two because this one is this unnecessary running light. This is the reverse light. This is the brake light. Now, compare that, again, just the two bottom ones, these bottom two, to this. Do you see a problem? Yeah. Keen-eyed people will notice. The reverse light on a third generation Explorer is the same exact bulb as the brake light. Now the brake light on both is the same, but on the 4th gen, this is the reverse light. And it does not fit into here because obviously it's a smaller bulb. So I've noticed some people, what they will do is they will replace the socket with one to match this. That would be the correct way to do it. I did it another way. I'm going to show you how I took the 3rd gen and made it work. So basically all you have to do, another quick thing is that the 3rd gen uses Phillips screws to screw in. It's the same hole size. You would think it would be the same. I don't know why they went to a 8 millimeter, but they did. So to install these, what I noticed is the only real issue is that these little holes here on the 4th generation taillight have these little pins that line up with it. The 3rd gen has these pins too, however the pins on the 3rd gen are too big to fit in there. So I ended up using some pliers and I just shortened that bit a little bit. The only other issue is that the 3rd gens have these kind of weird screws right here, which don't cause that much of a problem. So basically all you have to do really is take your running light bulb, which is this one of course, and remove it. Put it there. Now, to install this, all you're going to do is take these two screws out right here. Pretend this don't exist. Here's the little bit of the acrobatics because on the 3rd gen the brake light is at the top. So you're going to have to take your brake light and kind of stretch it out and put it in right here. For the reverse light, what I ended up doing is if you take this bulb and set it in here, you can fit the whole socket into that assembly, and then you kind of just have to look and line up. They kind of just click into place right there. Then just find the screw holes right there. So I didn't measure it, but I would be willing to bet that the 3rd gen taillights are a little bit bigger. Just like that. Now we will find, I put it on the wrong side, just a little Phillips head screwdriver because they made it easier. Ford does weird things sometimes, that's why we love them. Still better than a Chevrolet, but whatever. That's a different video. And I like to make sure they're nice and tight. Now, the one flaw you're going to have here, the one flaw, is that because it's not the correct taillight, there may be a way to fix this, but they do hang off just a little bit. And they do move ever so slightly. Now, I have not noticed them. They may move over a bump, but I have not noticed any issues with them moving, and I've had them in for months now. So, for reference, I'm going to close the lift gate, and I'm going to show you what the difference looks like. I'm just going to turn my brakes on, my turn signals, and my headlights. I'll do reverse lights as well. So that's it. That is the true difference. The reverse lights still work. They just don't sit as correct. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly go over here and I'm just going to swap the other one out on camera really quickly. While we're here, I think it's more apparent holding them like this. Yeah, the 3rd gen one here is a little bigger. It just is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my 2 8mm screws that went with the 4th gen taillight. I'm going to put them together. Actually, you know what? Nope, I have a better idea, because this is how I had it before. Got my little bag with some tape on it. I'll tape this right here. And this probably isn't the best idea, but I had them stored this way. I'm going to put the screws and the bulb in there. This is just a cheap little bulb. I can get another one if needed, but I'm just going to do that. Done. So, one more time with the new tail lights. I'm just going to go ahead and do a little demonstration. Just do a couple different things. So there you have it. Relatively quick, easy mod that, in my opinion, makes them look a lot better. These are junkyard taillights. I think they were 25 bucks a piece, which is kind of expensive, but they were also in good shape. And ironically enough, they're off of 2 different 3rd gens, because I found the one there. Maybe it was the other way around. I found one of them on a 3rd gen that was just missing the other one, and then I found the other one on a 3rd gen that had been completely decimated on this side, probably some sort of T-bone situation, but the other one was perfectly intact. So, funny enough, I got both of them, and they're both in pretty similar shape. So thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe and click like if you like what you see, and follow me on the web, wix.com/theelevatorworld/fans. Bye-bye.